Hello, my name is Kasper and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial we will show you how to use a React Hook form, a lightweight React library for managing and handling the forms across your application. With React Hook form you can easily validate user inputs, build long and complex forms and also handle submissions. So if you want to learn that, let's continue and follow this tutorial. Okay, so let's start the tutorial. So I am on official site of React Hook form application and I have this long documentation. You can find different variations, quick start, React web video tutorial, registering fields, etc. So we will cover the basics of that, but if you want to make some advanced usage, I recommend you to look at this and build very complex forms without any problems. Okay, so I'm going to the WebStorm and I'm creating the new React applications with Vite and project name React Hook form tutorial, and it will be with React, JavaScript. Okay, so it's created. I can just copy this command to go to the project directory. I'm in the project directory and I can install dependencies using the yarn. I skipped the installation time, so now I have all the dependencies installed and I can run the application with yarn dev. Okay, it's on localhost 5173. I can go back to WebStorm. I'm going to the project directory and I can go to the application. I have the app.jsx. I can clean everything up. I will remove imports, remove the counter. Maybe I will call this class name app, remove useState, and CSS also will remove. I will leave empty app. Maybe also this will clean up. We'll mark everything and margin 0. Okay. So I have the application cleaned and I can install the React Hook form. I will change also the directions in the terminal. Okay, and I can add React Hook form. It's installed, so let's go with the coding. I have the app set, so I can start coding. I divided my screen with the browser in the right side and the WebStorm code editor on the left side. I have the official documentation in the first tab and my React application in the second tab. So I can just, for the comparison, start with the basic form without React Hook form and show you the differences in the implementation. So I will start with form tag, and inside the form tag I will maybe add a label. This label will be like enter some value, and then I will go with the input. Input will be type text, value will be, for example, some text. Of course, I will create the use state hook for that. On change will be typo. On change will be event arrow function set some text event target dot value. Of course, there is an error. I will clean with this splitter and I will add a use state hook, some text, set some text, use state, and initial value will be an empty string. Of course, I have to import use state, import it, and it should work. Of course, an input should be closed. There is some input. I will clean that. Up will be grid, place items, center, width 100% and height also 100. Okay, maybe I will add the mean height 100 VH to set it to the full screen, full view. Okay, so I can start with this form. I will inspect, enable the console, and show the console log of some text. Right now it's an empty string, but when I type something, it's refreshing and the text is shown below. For continuing the comparison of efficiency beside two tools like React Hook Forms and just a simple use state hooks inside the form, I will start implementing the React Hook Form in this app container. So I will add another form. Okay, and I will start with the use form hook. Okay, and I have a function register which I will use just simply to register all inputs, all the elements of the form to have its value and proceed on some submission. So our React Hook Forms always starts with the use form hook, and in this case I will add also very similar input. I have a label, enter some value in React Hook Form. Okay, and I can start with the input. Input will be type text, and I will register that with the spread operator. And as an argument, I will pass the name of the input, and it will be the, for example, input 1, very creative. And that's the basic setup of the React Hook Form. Right now you're probably wondering how to see the value, like on the form coded at the top. how can I have an access to this value? So it can be proceeded with the use form hook. I need another function called watch, and I will use console log, maybe add another emoji, and pass the watch function. And I have the value of input 1, which is registered with this name. So I can register multiple inputs and have it all in one object, not like in the standard form above, to make multiple use state hooks, and it's very dirty, messy, and not super efficient. So I can also have an access to the specific input if I know the name, and the name is input-1. I can pass an argument to the watch function, and I have the console log with that here. So that's how I can have an access to the input in React hook form. So what are the advantages of using React hook form at this point? First of all, React hook form uses uncontrolled components. So if I change something in the input, for example, I would add a new letter, every time React will re-render the application. So it can be very lacking in performance in some complex structures, complex longer forms. I can have some serious lack of performance of efficiency. So this is the main point of using React hook form. Second of all, the code is simple. You can manage the form with just few lines of code, and using use form hooks you can build seriously super complex forms. I've built a lot of them in my everyday development, and I really recommend that. And third of all, it's super easy to use the third-party libraries with React hook form. For example, YAP. You can resolve some schemas inside of the form, and it's super easy to communicate with the backend, throw some errors, and show it to the client. So let's start with development some serious form. So I will start with adding some extra input, and it will be the input and it will be type submit. Okay, I will add to the use form handle submit and form state, and I will show you how to handle different kind of errors, and I can start with that. Okay, and I will just slightly change this input and the register function, and after the name of the input I will add validation required true. So I can't go through the submission without filling this input, and I will go to show errors that name this field is required, and I will add on submit function data log. I will change, for example, to the train emoji and data. And to use the onSubmit function properly, I will add it to the form tag on submit and handle submit on submit. So in handle submit I use this function and this form from use form hook. Okay, I can start the development. I will test this input. I will click submit. Nothing happens because I will show you. I will console errors. Maybe I'll use some alert. Okay. Errors. Okay, there is an error for input 1. I've typed the name, but I have to remember that I have to use the key like the name of the input. So in this case, input 1, or I will just change because it's not super clean to the name, for example, some variable. Also change here some variable, and I will also change here some variable. This field is required, so if I don't have anything, I have an error. I can see that here, and I have the message that this is required. But if I type something, I have the variable typed in this input. In next step, I will show you the differences in some longer forms. So I will delete this log. I will delete this log. For example, also that. And I will use only watch. I will refresh because I have some old registered functions. Okay, some variable. So there are two forms, and to build, for example, some basic form for login or registering, I can add another input. For example, this type will be also text, but value will be mail, set mail. There will be also text, but I will add address, set address, etc. And every time I have to make some hooks for that, and here I have mail, set mail, and address. Okay, maybe I will style it also. So simple form. Display flags. I've just deleted that. Flags direction column. And for example, I will have some, or I will leave just flags. Okay, margin left. Do not have super advanced styling. And that's how it's done with the simplest version. So I have 3 inputs, 3 use state hooks, and this is very not super clean. And to handle the same with the React hook form, let me present you. I will add another. Oh, I will also copy errors, and I will change only the register name, address, mail, address, mail, and I have all of that here, and it's super clean. I can submit, and that's for all of that. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Hope you enjoyed that and learned something new. So if you're handling the forms in React application in the old way with some useState hooks, just leave that and go with React hook form. It will look more advanced and you will be able to build some serious content, serious applications and deliver a more quality product. So that's all. Thank you for watching. If you like that, just subscribe and wait for the more material. Bye.